Everyone, yes, Muko Salama, you don't sound enthusiastic, you are a little silent. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. All protocols observed. My name is Hilary Cheserek. I am a network engineer at the Kenya Education Network. And we are a trust deed. We are the people that connect the education sector in Kenya. So I don't know, I had a presentation. I don't know if it can be streamed. Okay, maybe I can just continue as it's prepared. So the Kenya Education Network is a trust deed incorporated in around the year 2000. So it was formed by 5 founder member institutions, three public institutions and 2 private, mostly universities. And so our scope is mainly to connect and provide services to the higher education community in Kenya, particularly research institutions, universities, research, and some schools. And we also connect and provide services to anyone else who is related to education and research. At the time when we were being formed, internet was really growing up. I think we were the second registered after telecom to provide services. So it was expensive. So the community met, and then they came up with the service. So over that time, we've been providing services to KENET, and we are a small community, about 13 trustees, and of those 13 trustees, mostly are public. So our mission is to support digital transformation and digital inclusion, specifically in the universities. We try our best to get connectivity to the last 10 meters, and alongside community, we provide other services, for example, trust and identity services. We provide computing services. For example, even if a researcher wants to run some activity, okay, let us say you want to process your data, you want to calculate something online, we can give you, instead of you running on your laptop overnight, we can give you a virtual server, and then you'll be able to run it overnight. So those are some of the services that we are doing. So we are transforming learning and research in working environment using digital technologies. So what have we done to the community in Kenya? So currently we have a membership of about 219 members, and the membership is both private and public, and we are switching about 70 gigabits of traffic of that. Fortunately, the traffic is 70% local and 30% overseas, so we have 30 gigabits that connect to the international gateway. So we are available in the internet exchange points, all of them. We are even in iColo, we are in KXP. I think we are not yet in PIX, but we will be there someday. You can reach us. And we also have private peering arrangements that we do. So we have a network that covers 46 out of the 47 counties. We don't have a member in Samburu right now. We're trying to see if we can connect someone in Samburu, but we've basically covered the entire country. And as a research and education network, how are we structured? Because we are mission specific, we provide both commodity traffic, the usual traffic that you have, YouTube, Facebook, and all that, and then we provide academic traffic, that is research traffic. And that could be traffic to do with maybe an hospital, and they are a group of surgeons who are doing a procedure here. And so we need to transfer that traffic to someone else who is a consultant somewhere, who needs to guide these people to continue with the work or to do whatever they were doing. So that's part of the thing. So because we are structured like that, we have to connect with our peers, okay? In Africa, we have 3 groups and there's an association called UbuntuNet Africa, which we connect to. Then UbuntuNet connects to an organization called GIAN in Europe, which is a research and education network that is European. UbuntuNet is an African research and education network for East and Sub-Saharan Africa, basically the East Africa, Uganda, Congo, and down south. We have another one called WACREN. WACREN is for West Africa, the Western Africa, and then ASREN is for Arab States Education Network, which is basically the entire Sahel belt, that all the way to Yemen and the rest that they connect. All these organizations connect together for the purpose of promoting research and education. So you can have a researcher in Europe, and he's collaborating with another researcher at the University of Nairobi. And they are transferring a huge data set, okay? So we have to provide that platform to allow that researcher to transmit data from Nairobi and take it all the way to Europe for processing and back. And remember, we provide that alongside the resources that are needed to process that data. I just talked about virtual labs and those that we need to do. So I think I don't need to even follow the list here. The Gen Z normally say, and actually Gen Zs form a large population of the people we need to serve, because KENET is mandated to reach there. The Gen Z use a term called Anguka Nayo, so I don't have to follow this. I'll just Anguka Nayo and continue with my presentation. So this network that we have has to be highly available. We strive our best to get 99.9% available, and because if you have 3-hour downtime in a month, that's a long time. And since COVID, we've had to improve the network so much that it's available. Our provisions is like that we want this lecturer or this student to at no point have poor connectivity, okay? So the contention ratio for the service we provide is 1:1. So if we give you 10 Mbps, we're giving you 10 Mbps up and down. All right, we move on. So the services that we provide, what we use for the network include high-speed internet. Of course, I've talked about that. Then we have other services such as what we call EduRoom. And EduRoom is an identity service which is used to identify someone. So if you have registered a student in one university, that student is able to roam in the entire NREN community or anywhere where EduRoom is provided, and is given for services and logs in automatically. It is used like a decentralized authentication system. And then we have digital certificates. For all our members, once you become a member of KENET, apart from connecting you and taking all other services, such as cloud services and research, we also register your domain for free. So as long as you're a member of KENET, you're eligible for getting resources, and we'll assist you to set up that one. So that one helps them go anywhere. So alongside EduRoom and something called EduCain, which is identity provider, it allows our researchers and our students to roam whenever they are. And there's a picture I needed to show on my presentation. One of the things that we enable, just one picture. So once we provide that identity and we've allowed you to browse in the network, some of the data that you are accessing, for example, medical data for that case, okay? Is there a presentation? Okay. Go to the 9th one. Yes, that page. You can see pictures there. You can see 2 of them, right? So on the 9th page, you have one of the things that we promote. It's called, one of them is, that is just one among many. That's digital transformation of surgery, okay? So the picture on your left is just one I picked on the internet, but the one on your right is a real picture here in Kenya, for which doctors were doing an operation, and I have tried to blind the image so that I am in line with the data protection laws. This is a picture where we are enabling doctors or the surgical community in Kenya to be able to train other doctors remotely on surgery. And this is just one picture that I've created, which is a side. There are other pictures that are quite a little more elaborate on the details. For example, the pictures of things and the things that we enable. So in this case, if the doctor sees what's going on, they can consult a consultant somewhere and teach. And this also allows us to avoid crowding theaters when we are teaching medical students. For example, we don't need to have 10 students in a theater. They can be in a room somewhere and they can train. So if you go to the slide number 11 now, that's when I can discuss about the areas of collaborations that do. That was just an example of what KENET does. So let's go to number 11. So in number 11, we have 3 structures of connectivity. The center one is the core of the network, or rather the distribution network. And then we have some international connectivity. In our case, it forms 30% of the traffic. And then we have access network, which is the one down here. Now, that the one that's down there where you have these capacities, 10 MB, 1 gigabit, is the one that needs the most skill. We are partnering a lot with all our organizations right here at the center. So that is where now we peer with everybody. And that is where we need to collaborate in terms of security, network security, things like we follow the laws of BGP, manners and all that. And that's where we come in here. But the area where we'd like you to assist us, or the community to assist us, is digital skills at the lower level. Okay? So for that case, the area of collaboration that needs is network security and cyber security initiatives. So we need to promote internet security and collaboration. And we could follow all the cyber security rules, but we still have to be very candid on matter security. This country, we've had a lot of security challenges in the past, okay? You've heard of the distributed denial of service attacks that happened recently. And if we don't coordinate and collaborate together as members of this community, it will be difficult. You will have a network, yes, but it might not operate well if we don't follow all this and all of us. So you just need to have one weak point on the internet to compromise the entire sector. So for that, we can talk about promoting manners. I know that this is more of not upper layer things. These are more of layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, about filtering, about global validation. I had the advocate here talking about that sometimes someone registers a website and something like that and doesn't indicate who it is that registered the network. On the network part, we really have to have that. So you have to put your data in well-known places like peering DB everywhere. So if you come to KENET, you will find our email and even the contact person. And then we need to have our public resources, the IP address, or rather public IP addresses. We need to be careful with that. We need to have them on IRR, we register with the registry, and do RPKI. And then so that we know where everybody is doing. Then the other collaboration we can do is network infrastructure sharing. I know people have built resources, people have built fiber. If you could share, the better. For us, KENET, we rely on other third-party service providers. So if you have fiber on one side of the network, also share with the other person in the other side. And the last part, just to conclude, is development of digital skill set for the nation. The skill set is available in our community for the networks that are well developed. But do we have this skill set in where it's needed the most? When you go to a teacher's training college, in some case, for example, we have a lot of challenges there in terms of digital skill sets. And so if you can build a skill set for them, the better. You deliver your network very well. You deliver everything, all these digital resources. You give them a website, but they are unable to secure it. They are unable to run it. So that's where we need digital security. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. Have a good evening. Unless you have anything.
Questions for KENET? There's a question here.
Hello, Jambo. My name is Mwendwa Kivuva from KENET. What is the cost of this internet you are providing to schools or to institutions, especially the smaller institutions? Is it preferential? Can it compete with, say, Starlink, which can give 150 Mbps at 6,000?
Thank you, such. I had hoped that no one would ask me that question, but maybe I would say, first of all, that KENET is a not-for-profit organizations, so all the money that we do collect goes back to the network. And you asked about the cost. So, of course, we have our own community cost, network community cost, that I might not just speak to it here. But in terms of comparing with Starlink, so I have an experience with Starlink. We have about 15 or 16 Starlinks in our network. We run Starlinks and we use it remotely. Starlink is good for remote sites where you really don't have an option. All low Earth orbit networks are very, very good for remote sites where you don't have connectivity, but they are bundle based, okay? And if you have a school and a very active students who are on Twitter, you will exhaust your 200 Mbps maybe in an hour. And so from my statistics, it's not sustainable because they exhaust the bundles within a very short time. Sometimes in a week even, they consume a whole month of bandwidth. And after you exhaust Starlink, after you just reach your limit, they first take you down to best effort. After that, you just get the credit you have to do. You can do what we call an opt-in, which is an extra amount. So Starlink is good for personal use, not for institutional use, for emergency cases in that case. I hope I've answered you. Any other question?